Border Patrol's not going to cut open a bully stick.
What, take a big bite?
Come on.
If you want to know what we're talking about, we talked about bully sticks like, I don't know, 9 episodes ago.
Yeah,
and then,
check it out.
You should check it out. We'll put it in the show notes, ? Bully sticks, by the way, are dried bull's penises that dogs chew on.
Yeah.
And then someone told us that there's odor-free bully sticks, and that means that they've been drained of semen and urine. No, blood and urine. They didn't say semen.
No, they didn't.
I added that. Oh, no. Welcome to Text Me Back, the only podcast that's trying out a new candy bar. It's called the Fifth Avenue. It's like a Butterfinger, but I think the chocolate's better.
I've never in my life consumed a Fifth Avenue.
That's me too. And then I was at the gas station the other day and I saw it and I was like, what is that again? And then I picked it up and I looked at it and I said, this looks like a Butterfinger. And it felt hefty in my hand. I thought, I'm going to give this a shot. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. I'm Lindy West.
Great intro. And I'm Meagan Hatcher-Mays. The Fifth Avenue isn't the one that has pretzels in it. Wasn't there one that, like, the name of it was like The Five Things?
Take
and it
Five.
Had Take Five. That was it. That was a good candy bar.
That's a good one. I think it still exists.
Oh, nice.
Reese's loves to introduce a new candy bar and then never take it away, even if no one buys it. Like, there's like so many kinds of Reese's now. There's a thing that's like a crunch log. There's like a thing they're like, we made Nutrageous, but then we took away the nut and we just made
crunch log.
I don't know. There's a thing that's called like Peanut Butter Express. I don't know.
Well, I look forward to trying it. Welcome to Text Me Back. We have a wonderful show for you. We're going to talk about many topics, such as normal news and dog thoughts, because we have some new thoughts about dogs. But first, we're going to be doing the Department of Corrections, because we have a correction from 2 episodes ago, I believe, where I was teaching you all 8th grade history. You're welcome, by the way. If you want to graduate 8th grade, you better learn the waterways of Washington State. Oh, you better learn the geographical formations.
Can I say something?
Yes.
About that? Someone in our Text Me Back podcast Discord.
Yes.
Which, by the way, all of you are missing out if you're not on there. And you can only get in there if you subscribe to the Patreon. But someone in the Discord said that whatever crazy state they're from, I think it was maybe Michigan, made them, for their state history requirement, made them memorize all the counties in the state.
Oh,
that's crazy.
Please don't make me do that.
I am every day on a daily basis finding out about a new county in Washington State.
I know. Well, the most famous one, of course, is Skamania. When we all went through our ska phase in middle school, we were absolutely lit over Skamania County. But beyond that, I could give you King, Skagit, Jefferson, of course, and that's about as far as I can go. Whatcom County,
famous, an important county in the Meagan Hatcher-Mays lore.
Yep.
You know, Pierce County,
I guess.
Clallam County, which is where the prison is. Shout out to Gary Ridgway. Okay. Parentheses derogatory. But then from there, I'm like,
please,
I don't know her.
Don't, and I'm not gonna teach you her. Anyways, if you want to graduate 8th grade, you have to learn Washington State history. And I was popping off about my least favorite thing about Washington, which is that nothing is named after anything that's relevant to the state. By the way, speaking of King County, guess who's that's named after? Martin Luther King. Did the man ever maybe went to Seattle once? There are other civil rights leaders in Seattle that we could name that county after who actually made Washington state a better place. No offense to Martin Luther King, of course, but come on.
Didn't they retcon that, or was that just
They might have retconned that.
I wonder.
Yeah, it might have been named after the King George or something. And then they were like, no, man. Well, because they did that with Franklin, remember? Our rival was the Franklin High School Quakers, named after the religious group, the Quakers, the pacifists who, were against slavery before it was cool. And then I want to say in like 1997, they were like, we can't. It's against the First Amendment to have a mascot that is religiously based. So they retconned it that Quakers was a nickname for earthquakes because Seattle famously is going to be decimated by a 10.0 earthquake and be swallowed by the sea. So they're like, let's just call them the earthquakes, but we can still be the Quakers because the word quake is in the word. And I think they did that for like 5 years. And then everyone was like, that's extremely stupid, And then they changed it back to Quakers.
Change it back to the oats. I thought you were going to say that someone decided that Benjamin Franklin was problematic, so then they changed it to Franklin the Turtle.
They did that too. It's just that nobody ever reports on the important stories, Anyway, here's the situation. A couple weeks ago, I was popping off because I hate the naming conventions of the great state of Washington, including the name of the state. And the famous mountain, Mount Rainier, named after some rando who never went there. And then I was popping off about the famous sound, Puget Sound, which was named after a man named Peter Puget. By the way, guess what Rainier's first name is? Also Peter. Huh. Also in that episode, a man named Peter called in to tell us about his mother-in-law's snake. So what the fuck all was going on with that episode?
That episode brought to you by Big Peter.
Big Pete. Thank you, Peter. Anyway, I was like, Peter Puget never set foot in the Puget Sound. And spiritually, he didn't, but literally he did. He did scoot his little boat around the sound, and they named it for him as a result of him colonizing our waterways. Good for him. By the way, hilariously, he was on this journey with a guy named George Vancouver, which is what Vancouver is named after. But it's just funny because I feel like we have a bit on this show where we just call the CEO of a company like fake male first name and whatever the name of the company is. So like Richard Netflix or whatever. And so it's just funny that there's a man named George Vancouver. I was like, he stole my joke.
Yeah. It's like that joke that we used to do where we pretended like we were a guy named Kirk who founded Kirkland. And we would say, I claim this land in the name of Kirk.
And I do feel like that is literally true. And I feel like his first name was probably Peter.
Peter
So
Kirk.
what the fuck was going on?
Well, I always thought his first name was Kirk, like Kirk Cameron.
Yes,
but maybe
that's
his name was Kirk Peter. We got to have a Peter in there. Kirkland, by the way, of the famous Kirkland signature products that we all love.
Of the Costco Kirklands.
Also, secondary correction, another Peter correction, Department of Corrections, Peter edition. We also forgot to mention, you forgot to mention.
I did an erasure. Yes.
That Peter Rainier was an obesity epidemic, early adopter king, plus size influencer, representation matters. So is it honoring him to name a mountain after him, or is it bullying? Either way, let's get rid of it. But
he is launching a line of size inclusive vests with like 50 gold buttons all the way to the neck. And we just want to support that. So I'm so sorry, Peter Rainier. Peter Mount Rainier.
He's pledged to make no shapewear whatsoever in his line.
None. No photoshopping in the campaign. So shout out to Peter Rainier for all he's given us.
For being fat?
I get. Oh,
we do stand. We do stand.
So we apologize. But look, I'll tell you this. If you put on your 8th grade Washington State history final that Peter Puget never stepped foot in Seattle, Washington, you still passed. And we will see you at graduation.
In fact, extra credit from Megs.
Yeah, honestly.
From teacher Megs.
I didn't even read the rest of the questions. If that's what you answer for that one, you passed. Congratulations, dude. So that was our Department of Corrections. We apologize. We will probably not do better next time, but we will try.
No, we won't.
Okay.
Up next, it's Dog Thoughts. Woof.
welcome back. We've got some hot thoughts to share about dogs. What happened? What was that? Woof. But check this out, because this is this is the only reason we do this segment. It's so good. Thank you. Lindy, your thoughts about your dog.
Dude, my dog gave me the freaking runaround this week. I don't know what that expression means. Does that mean he lied to me? Anyway,
it was a grift.
He put me
the classic Barry grift.
Yes. Well, honestly, in a way, he did do a grift. Called his entire life.
Yeah.
Leading up to this point was a grift because Barry has always been a very good boy around other dogs and all people, except that he jumps on people from enthusiasm. He knocks over babies and he doesn't come when called. And he is dirty, but a friendly guy. In fact, mostly indifferent to other dogs. And then every once in a while, he'll do a little playtime. He'll pick a dog and he's like, you know what? I like that guy.
That's my boy.
The only problem we've ever had with him, with other dogs, is that if a dog is a boy and still has his nuts, Barry says, oh, hell no. And
honestly, relatable. Yeah.
Barry, I don't like to see him, by the way.
No.
Like I gotta see him swinging around.
Get some like dog pants.
They should have to wear underpants if they keep their external genitals.
Come on.
Well, the penises, I guess, are fine.
Yeah. But that's like
are they?
I don't know. It's not in my line of sight, typically, you know?
All animals should wear clothes. Top and bottom. New ethos of this podcast. All worms are snakes. All animals should wear clothes. Anyway.
The animal garden of Eden has fallen. Some dog ate the apple and now they're all aware of their situation.
It wasn't Barry, let me tell you. He will not take one nibble of an apple, except for one time when a slice fell in the hot tub. And then he was like, tastes like my parents.
Oh, God.
Tastes like mom's soup. Anyway, so if there's an unfixed boy at the dog park, Barry will become homicidal. And it's a true nightmare. So I just don't take him to the dog park because people don't know that. And people who haven't taken away their dog's nuts bring their testosterone riddled hounds to the dog park where my innocent baby turns into, Marty McFly, having been called a chicken.
Oh, I was like, what?
Marty McFly's famous weakness. Don't call him a chicken. He becomes enraged. He cannot be consoled. Anyway.
Yeah.
He snaps. He oxygens snaps. So anyway, so I thought that I knew the parameters of Barry. Barry is a safe boy around dogs as long as they got no nuts. So this past weekend, my partner Roya's dearest friends from college came to visit us, and for the first time. They'd never been here before. And all incredible. I loved them all very much. We had a wonderful time. One of the couples brought their dog, who is a sweet, adorable rescue with great big bat ears, so cute, almost as big as Barry, maybe a tiny bit smaller, a mutt of some kind.
Yeah.
Named Derby, an angel. Such a good boy, overcame adversity to become the best boy. Derby walks into this house and this man, my son, he says, I fucking hate that guy. He's like, oh, hell no. He's like, I fucking hate Derby's ass. I gonna fucking kill that guy.
And then, Derby is also a member of the castrati with Barry. Is that right? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
There's no need for it.
There's no need for it. It does not fit the mold. I don't understand what's happening. And so literally imagine the scariest wolf That's what Barry turns into.
No, not our copper prince.
Yes. He's like so scary. And
Oh
by the way,
God.
yeah, there's also like a toddler. The toddler's crying. Like because Derby is her dog, and she was just like petting soft sweet Barry, and then now Barry's trying to kill her best friend Derby. So
everybody's getting traumatized,
dude, including me.
Yeah.
And we kept trying because I was like, this doesn't make sense. This is not what my boy is like. And I was like, Derby does not have nuts, right? And they were like, no. But they did say he got fixed later than most dogs, later in life. And I thought, and I do know that when Barry was a baby, I would run into like purebred dog freaks. There's like a very vocal contingent of large breed purebred dog freaks who are like, if you neuter your dog before age 2, it's terrible for him because there's like important developmental milestones that he needs testosterone, that large dogs need testosterone for up until age 2. And so if you neuter them, they're going to have all kinds of like bone problems. And I asked multiple vets. They were like, the science is not settled. You know, a lot of people think that, but like, honestly, there's a lot of problems that come from not being neutered. So you just kind of have to pick and like,
pick your path.
Yeah.
Forward.
And for us, Barry was humping the throw blankets on the couch all day, every day. He was mounting it up into a little pile, calling it his girlfriend, and going to town. And
that can't continue.
It couldn't continue. So, and he was getting attacked at the dog park. He was getting attacked at the dog park for having nuts.
The criminal. Yeah.
Yes. And now you see what happens. He perpetuates the cycle of violence. So I'm thinking to myself, the only thing I can think of is that something in like Derby getting fixed later in life, age, 3 or 4 or something. Maybe he retains some kind of musk.
Some sort of infuriating pheromone that has sent Barry into space. Yeah.
And they met outside. It's not even like that thing where, don't introduce new dogs on one dog's territory. We did everything right. Anyway, okay. So then it was so bad that we had to keep them separated for the whole rest of the weekend, which was very stressful. There's this thing that I've noticed when we used to go to the dog park and an unfixed male was around. They do this thing that fixed dogs don't do, which is that they don't leave Barry alone. They like sniff his butt a lot, and they sniff and they sniff and they follow him around.
They're just all up in your business.
Yes. Yeah. And I can see him because he's my son. I know him very well. I can see him like sending signals like, please get away from me.
No, thanks.
No, thank you. And that's the same thing happened with Derby, where Barry just like kept moving away and being like, okay, that's enough. No, thank you. And then eventually, again,
homicide.
Oxygens snapped. So it was so stressful trying to keep them in separate parts of the house because then everyone's yelping and crying. Everyone's frustrated. And then there's a house full of people who are college best friends reuniting,
try to catch up and relax.
And also like, have a cocktail. And then I'm running around like a psychopath being like, make sure you shut the door. Oh, where's Barry? Shut the door. So, I got like no sleep. So then on Sunday, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take Barry on an excursion. Yeah. On a mother boy excursion. And so we just went and like went on a hike in the rain. It was actually very beautiful.
Cute.
But on the way, I stopped at this coffee stand and the lady's like, what are you doing today? And I was like, well, I'm taking my delinquent son on an outing because he will not stop attacking this perfectly nice other dog. And she goes, oh yeah, dogs are so intuitive. They always know. They love to tattle when someone's a bad seed. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, my old dog, she was like that. And we had a neighbor who was, let's just say, an after hours pharmacist.
Oh.
And every time we saw that guy, she went crazy because she knew. And she tried to attack him every time. And I was like, are you saying that Derby is a drug dealer?
Is that what you're saying? Is that the claim being laid on the table?
Because that was the analogy she was making. That her dog could identify an evil drug pusher. And Barry too. Barry had a similar power to identify the criminal element.
Derby's the one bringing in all that fentanyl?
I
Is
think
that
so.
what you're saying?
I think that's what she's saying. I think she's saying
Tariffs on Derby?
Oh, we're importing undrained bully sticks.
Oh, God.
Secretly, we re-injected them with fentanyl.
What? That's kind of a good idea.
That's kind of who is going to cut open who amongst us?
No, everyone knows how much those things stink.
Exactly.
Border Patrol's not going to cut open a bully stick.
What, take a big bite?
Come on.
If you want to know what we're talking about, we talked about bully sticks like, I don't know, 9 episodes ago.
Yeah,
and then,
check it out.
You should check it out. We'll put it in the show notes, ? Bully sticks, by the way, are dried bull's penises that dogs chew on.
Yeah.
And then someone told us that there's odor-free bully sticks, and that means that they've been drained of semen and urine. No, blood and urine. They didn't say semen.
No, they didn't.
I added that. Oh, no. So anyway, that's my dog thoughts. Goodbye.
That was a really good thought. Thank you. I'm not upset at all, and I don't want to cry. Barry's evil.
I know.
Or maybe Derby's evil. We don't know.
Well, I don't want to besmirch Derby, who is very sweet.
Yeah, he can't defend himself.
But, there was another dog here, too. There were 2 dogs. And the other dog was a very elderly 16-year-old little scruff pot named Princess Igabel. Squiggles. And Barry was so kind and gentle with Squiggles, with Iggy. Barry said, that's my little old lady friend,
Interesting. But he would never suspect a grandma of pushing drugs.
Exactly. But maybe Barry's the drug pusher. And he didn't want Derby on his turf.
On his turf, where he sells fentanyl to deer.
And squirrels. Correct. Anyway, so just a little toxic masculinity that invaded my home this weekend.
I don't like that.
I don't either. Do you have dog thoughts?
I sure do. First of all, I would like to say something about my dog, Kevin. First and last of all, actually. That's my main thought. I have another dog, by the way. Her name's Marge. And I never talk about her on the show because she's just like demonic in a normal way, I think. I don't really have any thoughts about her because she's sleeping behind me because she's a perfect angel.
She is perfect. I love her. Oh, she woke up because we were looking at her. Oh, she's doing a stretch. Hi, Marge.
She's so cute.
Marge.
But she's very snuggly, even though she's reactive and wants to kill everyone. But that's fine. Kevin has invented a new style of being that I've never known a dog to have before. And it's called, I want to stay out in the living room after everyone goes to sleep. And I want to scream. And I said, what? What is this style? I've never heard of this. And so every night, this was going on for like 5 nights in a row. And the issue is, well, it's annoying to me, but also my living room is right above my downstairs neighbor's bedroom. That's just like the layout of our building. So if he's out in the living room screaming, she can hear it like 1,000% because our walls are very thin in this shitty condo that I live in. So, and then it wakes me up. I got to go get him. It's like waking up to take care of the baby. I was like, I don't have a baby. Why is this happening? I specifically don't have a baby so that I can be sleeping. Like, what is going on here? So, and he just likes to sleep out there, sleep in air quotes, because he's not sleeping. He's just like has his miniature head on a swivel, just getting ready to scream at any leaf that kind of blows past the window. By the way, the shades are drawn, but both dogs have figured out that at the end of the day, the shades are just paper. Yeah. You can smash right through those bad boys. It don't matter. By the way, my beautiful custom shades are dirty and torn from my 2 beautiful children who I love. That's fine. That's okay. So then we started placing a little pillow on the shade so he couldn't break through them. Then he figured out it's just a pillow.
Yeah.
Just knock it down and push my head right through and just scream into the street. So then we had to get Lindy a baby gate for a dog. And we had to put up the baby gate so he can't get out there anymore. And that has calmed his desire to howl like goddamn
teen wolf.
I was going
What?
to say Remus Lupin, but then I was like, I can't mention that rotted ass on this podcast. So then I was like, what's the name of the werewolf from Twilight? I don't know. And I'll never know.
Jacob.
Jacob?
Yeah.
Is it Jacob? Okay.
Yes.
So he's out there screaming like freaking Jacob. He's like, Bella, where have you been, Loca? You know? So we put up the baby gate. Here's the issue though. I've used that baby gate 19 times and 19 times I forget how to use it. I cannot figure it out. So if Adam, my husband, is already asleep, the baby gate's not getting put up because I can't figure out how to tighten it.
It's
I was
crazy
like,
that you can't figure it out when it was made for a baby.
It's made for a baby. Yeah, it's so weird. And I always think to myself, it's the opposite of what I think to tighten it.
And then
that's
a hall of mirrors.
No, it's never, I'm not spinning it the right way ever. It doesn't matter. Clockwise, counterclockwise, it never works unless Adam is awake and Adam does it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so last night it was a whole night of and so he'll like bark, but if you try to interrupt his barking by picking him up, he gets very annoyed because he's like in the middle of his task.
Sure, he's doing something.
Yeah, he's doing his style of being alive, which is a style heretofore never heard of from a dog, but okay. So if you pick him up in the middle of the bark, he starts like whipping his head around and he just starts going, It's like, oh God, the fuck happened to you in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
I was just going to say, do you think that the problem is that in order to communicate with him, you need to be speaking Pennsylvania Dutch?
I think so. You know what they say about dogs that come from Pennsylvania? So like the Amish don't bring animals inside, I guess. Anyways, we don't need to relitigate whether or not I violated ethical rules by going to get Kevin. I did.
Yes.
Forgive me or don't. But anyway. And so they don't ever learn about quiet time. This is what I've heard based on my research. They never learn about like, okay, we're turning off the lights and we're going to bed because they're just outside.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
So Kevin doesn't really do nighttime. He's just like, it's just a different time of day for screaming. Like, I don't understand why you're upset.
Yeah.
Too bad you couldn't figure out the baby gate, idiot.
You know what would help, I think, is a bully stick full of fentanyl.
Full of fentanyl. If you're Derby, the drug dealing dog, can you give me a call? 703-829-0003. So anyway, my thought about Kevin is, can you shut the fuck up, man, for real? Like, we're trying to sleep, dude.
You gotta say, kan du shorty farty arby? Havna? Ja.
Willkommen till Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Anyway, I hate his ass.
Is there a Pennsylvania Dutch translator? There is.
Ooh.
Okay, here. Hold on. I got it. Pennsylvania Dutch translator. Kevin, can you shut the fuck up? Question mark.
There's no way they have a word for fuck.
Kevin, kannst du die Schnauze so mach?
I'm going to try that and see if it works. I will report back. Yeah, I don't know. It seems there's nothing I could do about it. You know, I can't let him chew sticks at night unattended. So it's just baby gate. I guess I'll have to take a baby gate, my 20th baby gate lesson from Adam, and maybe I'll eventually figure it out. But those are my dog thoughts. We hope you enjoyed. And here's another excuse to play the song again.
Yep.
And we'll be right back with normal news.
Willkommen zurück beim Text Me Back Podcast.
Jesus.
Oh, hold on. Es ist Zeit für gewöhnlich Naus. It's time for normal news.
It's time for normal news. And that's the most normal introduction we've ever done for this segment. So I'm very excited. Lindy, would you like to start?
Sure, I got one.
What's your normal news?
But my normal news got cold water poured on it, but I'm going to tell you the whole story.
Okay.
So, I like the fantastical and the arcane.
Sure.
Megs, I like the fantasy novels and I like the ancient past, both true and imagined. And I like animals, the animal kingdom, Megan.
Of course, yes.
I like the extinct and the extant.
If only there was a way to combine all of these things into one normal story.
So imagine my excitement when I came across a story called They Resurrected the Dire Wolf. Imagine my delight.
I actually can't imagine the levels of your delight. Like it must have been actually unreadable, It
was grande, Megan. It was grobe, as they say in Pennsylvania. It was grobe. So, and so the story is scientists got some DNA from some extinct big wolves called dire wolves that used to exist. Prehistoric megafauna. Or what qualifies prehistoric? Maybe they're just historic. Maybe they're just extinct megafauna. They're great big wolves, Megan.
Yes.
They're called dire wolves. They also exist in Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Where they are also extinct and also return. Uh-oh.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Wait a minute.
So we got.
Oh, and we have a Mad King.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, boy.
So some of these crazy Jurassic Park guys, they go and they get the DNA and they clone the dire wolf and they say, look, we made a dire wolf puppy. Dire wolves are back. Dire wolves are having a moment. It's dire wolf summer. Dire wolf summer 2025.
Yeah.
So I love this. I love shit like this. I love it.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. Please, everything is so bad. Just, do something weird that it entertains me for 5 seconds.
Can I be honest? We're living through an era that is so... Please, introduce more apex predators into society.
Yes, please.
I think that could be good for us. I think it could add some excitement to our lives, and it might take me out, which would be ideal. So
release them on the streets of Washington, D.C.
Thank you. If you're the dire wolf, will you come to my house? Tear my face off? Let me know.
So the headlines that are going around are the scientists say they have resurrected the dire wolf. The dire wolf, which went extinct 12,500 years ago, revived by biotech company. This is from CNN, CBS. Then the BBC starts pissing on my parade and crapping. They say experts dispute colossal claim dire wolf back from extinction. And I'm like, okay, well, once again, here come the British. And this is on the cover of Time magazine, a snow white baby wolf that has not existed for 10,000 years. It's from here, by the way, the Americas. Oh my God, they named the new baby wolves Romulus, Remus, and Khaleesi. No, thank you.
Shut up.
So then the actual scientists who are not biotech boys are like, it's just a wolf. It's just
a really big wolf.
Just a really big wolf. He says, ancient DNA is like if you put fresh DNA in a 500-degree oven overnight. It comes out fragmented, like shards and dust.
Oh.
You can reconstruct it, but it's not good enough to do anything else with. So what Colossal has produced, that's the company, is a gray wolf, but it has some dire wolf-like characteristics, like a larger skull and white fur. Okay, so then I log on to Instagram, where an influencer that I follow, I guess I shouldn't call him an influencer, a naturalist that I follow, there's this guy who's kind of like a like a cool, like rugged, sexy, kind of like a Professor Dr. Freak Vonk, but like
or
less...
Steve Irwin's son, who is now posting thirst traps.
Boy!
Snakes.
Oh, brother!
Wow. Talk about normal
baby
news.
Bob. Not baby Bob and the Calvins.
It's very unsettling because I'm old. Please, you make me feel bad for looking at your pictures. Is it illegal? I don't know. Probably not technically, but spiritually.
It is.
Spiritually,
yes.
I am not clean now due to you.
So there's this guy who's great. His name's Paul Rosalie. He's trying to save the Amazon. He lives in the freaking Amazon. He never wears shoes. He's always walking around, stepping on a centipede, rescuing a baby toucan. But he also does stuff like that where I'm like, oh, ugh. Like, you know, he'll like go on Joe Rogan and like talk about the Amazon. But I think he's like, look, my priority is getting people to care about the Amazon. Yeah. I don't know what his politics are. Maybe he loves Joe Rogan. I don't know. But I know that he's a very nice man because here's what happened. One of my favorite things that I don't even know if we've talked about on this podcast, one of my favorite things in the world is videos of snakes drinking water. Because snakes drinking water is so funny because what they do is they put their little snoot in the water and then they go glup, 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 and you can see their little cheeks. They're like, it's like they're sucking it up through a straw. Yeah. And it's so funny because it looks so much more like a snake drinking water than what you think a snake drinking water is going to look like. So Paul Rosalie posts an incredible video of a snake drinking water that I randomly come across. And then, of course, I reposted into my Instagram feed. Paul Rosalie, who has, by the way, 1.4 million followers, he then DMs me and is like, ha, ha, ha. Some of my friends saw that you posted my video and they told me that you're an amazing writer. Thanks for the share. And then he follows me back. So now we're friends.
Yeah. Best friends. And it's a close friendship when I forgive you for going on Joe Rogan. Yeah. So I love to follow him. Great follow. I would love to save the Amazon. Please. Can we do that? So then I'm all high on this direwolf news just for something to cling to, Megs. Yes. Frickin' Paul has posted a meme. It's Brad Pitt looking haggard in some kind of war movie. Caption says, watching everyone get fooled into believing direwolves have been brought back while we are out here fighting for real living species and ecosystems. And then in the longer caption, he writes, everyone is being fooled. It's the ship of Theseus with no water. These are genetically modified gray wolves, not dire wolves. I listen to the podcast. I've spoken to the experts. Everyone feels the same. Amazing science project. Cool stuff. But this is not conservation. There's a lot of amazing work being done to save species and ecosystems all over the world. So many heroes saving species. The direwolf thing is just sci-fi clickbait, and it's robbing so much money that could be used to actually conserve the species we have here already in more effective and impactful ways. These people talk of productionizing species. They are cloning dogs for rich people who can't let go of their pets, and in doing so, exposing a terrifying gap in basic logic. They don't get it. You can't clone grandma and expect the meatballs to taste the same. Same goes for animals. This whole thing is exposing people's enormous amnesia for reality. Salmon have been hammering themselves up streams and against rocks for millions of years to become salmon. Only the strong survive the journey. They are inextricably tied to and the product of their environment and their history and context, just as each species is tied to its ecological context. If you take a poisoned dart frog out of the jungle, it ceases to be poisonous. An orphaned tiger can never be wild without a mother tiger to teach it how to hunt. Animals have complex cultures. There's a sacred cycle and a natural order. We must protect our species. Respect the wisdom of the wild. Oh, wow. Brother. Let him have it.
He let me
specifically have it. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like, you don't even know how or why women go into labor and you're bringing back the woolly mammoth. Like, I can't get half the shit wrong with me diagnosed. And you're like, guess what? We made a new wolf. Like, okay.
I know.
I know. And by the way, my knee hurts and no one knows why. Could we focus on knees? Knees are real and mine's in pain.
And anyone? It's not like, by the way, it's not like the dire wolf went extinct 35 years ago because of fracking.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Like if you want to bring something back that we murdered, like,
Right.
yeah, okay, I would allow that. But in the meantime,
Dude.
what's wrong with me? No disease affecting women has ever been studied. Why is that? And you want to bring back some hairy elephant?
Right, which by the way is just so that Elon can have a copy
Right.
to live in his yard.
It's just for like some weird sultan's private zoo. That doesn't help me.
Right. The whole thing, I mean, it's the same vanity project, honestly, as like, let's terraform Mars. We already have a planet. We have one. Yeah,
We have a Terra that's been formed.
Why don't we stop de-terraforming Earth into garbage and just keep it?
Specifically, where the Earth, our Terra, is being unformed by your products, like building the technology to make your trucks that set people on fire on the inside and they can't get out. That's what's doing it. Why are you going to Mars? Fix this. As Sarah Silverman once said, we're Earthlings. Let's blow up Earth things. Come on, man. Like, it's bananas. It's like the guy who, that weirdo who doesn't want to die, right, and he like drinks his son's virgin blood or whatever, and he looks already dead, and he's like, don't I look amazing? I'm only 56. I was like, I thought you were 92. You look like a corpse, bro. And it's like, what is the point of living if you don't have any fun? When you spend your whole time eating quinoa and drinking blood, just die. That sounds so much better than being in a cryogenic chamber with a fucking piece of raw asparagus.
Also, I don't know if you saw this, but that guy was just in the news because he found out that one of his miracle treatments does the opposite and actually increases aging.
Oopsie!
And he said oopsie daisy. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, oh yeah, I've been taking this for years. And then they're like, oh, hey, we just figured out that actually that makes you age faster and worse.
There's truly nothing I love more than seeing a side-by-side of that man before he started drinking his son's blood and after. He looked amazing before. He looked amazing. Tan, healthy, robust, and now he looks fucking like his grave has been robbed, and he was the thing that got robbed out of it. It's not, please, you're killing me.
So anyway, shout out to Paul, Rosalie. If I'm mispronouncing your last name, I'm so sorry. And, I have to retract the shout out to the scientists, the for-profit scientists
Boo.
who are making new wolves rather than saving the ones that we have. Well, the people, by the way, who are probably somehow profiting from making the new wolves are the same people that are hunting the old wolves from the helicopter. You know what I mean?
They're shooting the old wolves with an AR-15 from a helicopter. So thank you for that.
So in conclusion, I love to be alive at this time. Megan,
yes.
What's your normal news?
My normal news is among the most normal news I've ever seen. Many people who listen to the show, I'm sure, are big time WNBA fans, myself included, although I have yet to make it to a Washington Mystics game. So I guess I'm canceled. Sorry, girls. But anyways, everyone's favorite, I think, my finger is on the pulse of the WNBA beat. Everyone's favorite mascot is Ellie the elephant of the New York Liberty, because Ellie brings a lot of vibrance, a lot of energy to her performances. She brings a lot of like ballroom movements. She's incredible, actually. Yeah. If you're not already following Ellie the elephant on Instagram, you simply must. Also, sometimes and Ellie's very fashionable. So and she has stylists who she calls her aunties. So her aunties will like get her dressed for the games, and she wears like, a lot of like Black-owned fashion brands. And she's just a truly a queen, which is why she wears Lady Liberty's crown. And she's a phenomenal dancer. She does a lot of like headstands and stuff. Like, she's amazing. And sometimes she makes these videos where she does voiceovers, and her voice is sort of the it sounds a lot like the AI lady's voice. Or it sounds a lot like the TikTok filter you can use that makes your voice sound very high pitched, but I'm sure that's her actual voice. Canonically, that's just what she sounds like.
Sure. And
she posted a video recently where she was kind of showing off her new moves. And I was shocked at some of the comments this video was getting, because it was a very non-controversial video of our beloved queen, Ellie, the elephant, showing off some new moves. The comments were saying things such as, Ellie, did you get work done? Ellie, are you taking Ozempic? Ellie, who are you? Like really questioning Ellie, sort of laying out on the table some sort of conspiracy that the real Ellie had been replaced with this new Ellie who had taken Ozempic and maybe gotten liposuction, you know? And I was like, this is very normal. I think we can all agree to body shame a mascot?
A fake elephant?
A fake elephant? I don't know why. I don't think the elephant took Ozempic.
Do they mean that they suspect the team of changing the suit to make it look,
yes,
or that the dancer inside of the suit? Sorry if anyone thinks that this is a real elephant. Sorry to blow your mind. Or they think that the actor inside the suit has lost weight.
Both. So there's some talk, some suggestion that the performer who plays Ellie has been replaced. Secret, by someone else. And perhaps that's why the suit looks different.
That's fine. Fuck, who cares?
Who cares? Can the performer do a headstand and twerk her elephant ass? If the answer is yes, I don't really care who's in there.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
You know what, Megan? You know what? Harkening back to the previous segment, I'd like to echo the words of my friend, Paul Rosalie, and say there are real elephants that are losing weight from their whole bodies called dying.
Called famine.
So,
gang.
Can we have real priorities? Because this is crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And some of them were jokes, obviously. Like, no one's really all that fussed about a mascot, but there was this sort of, I think people should read the comments. There was this undercurrent of like kind of real anger at what was going on with this elephant. And I was like, yeah, sure, we all fear change. But to be honest, until I read the comments, I didn't notice any difference. Like, I just really didn't see any difference between. And yes, there were some joke comments about Ozempic. I don't think anyone thinks that the mascot was taking Ozempic. I just want to clear that up in case someone writes in to be like, it was a joke. It just was odd. And also it was kind of tied into what I feel like I see a lot more broadly on social media about like people being really hyper focused on what influencers, people with big followings, like what their bodies look like in either direction. And this feeling of like, you owe me an explanation if your body changes. And I would like to say, I don't want one. When you explain to me what's happened to your body, it triggers my mental illness. And I don't care. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're taking medication. I don't care if you ate too many lasagnas. It's none of my business and I don't care. Please leave me alone.
It makes it worse when you say what it is. If you come clean about having weight loss surgery, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it helps me. It just actually, it makes me feel worse because then I know for a fact that you said, I got too much shit on me.
Yeah, I got too much fucking shit on me. And I'm like, okay, I was just enjoying my little day. And now I gotta know about this? Come on. So poor Ellie the elephant did in fact make a response video.
Oh, Lord.
And she explained that yes, there have been some changes. Her braid is now, she has a very long braid that she whips around. That is now detachable. Her ears have more flexibility. So when she's taking selfies with fans, she can pin her ears back so the ears don't flop into the fans' faces. And yes, the body is a little bit more trim, which allows for some more flexibility in her dance moves.
Which
and that
supposedly you all like. You like the dance moves.
So this allows the performer to perform a little better without having to carry as bulky of a fur suit. Again, Ellie is a person in there and not a real elephant. So you could tell this elephant has had it. So she's like, since you want to know everything, I'll tell you. It's still me. So she also is saying it's still the same performer inside of here. We've just made some upgrades to my dancing costume, let's call it that, so that I can move a little bit better, so that you're not infringed upon when you take pictures with me, and I can whip my hair a little bit harder. Her crown comes on and off. She said that her lash extensions made it a little bit difficult to see, so they trimmed back the lash extensions. She can take the crown off if she needs to. And I say, let this woman live.
Please.
And I think we can all agree there's nothing more normal than bullying an elephant into making a response video about the Ozempic allegations.
Yeah. And postscript, let the real elephants live.
Yeah. If you're interested.
By conserving their habitat and saving Earth from fascism.
Okay. Does that sound good?
Thank you.
Thanks. And that was normal news.
Beep, 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 beep. Normal news. Still waiting on that jingle, America.
Yeah. Or British, since you owe us one.
Yeah, that's true.
For hurting our feelings about that direwolf.
Also, British.
I'm so sorry.
Can we take back the Revolutionary War? Do you want it back?
Because I'm scared.
British? I know you guys are kind of bad too now, but you're a little bit better than us.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, we're going to take a break, and then the show will stop. Well, Lindy. Well, we did it again.
Well, Megan.
You sound like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror.
Megan, we must go to the bed for some sleeping.
Beautiful.
Thanks. You want to hear another impression that I can do? Okay, I'd like your opinion. Aham says that this impression's not good.
I wonder how I'll decide.
Name an impression. Say Newman from Seinfeld.
Newman from Seinfeld.
Hello, Jerry. Aham says that's not how he says it.
He doesn't. The immediacy with which you laughed at your own impression is what really made it. He doesn't sound like that at all. Not at all. Not at all. Okay. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Lindy's dead.
Goodbye, Jerry. Jerry.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Right?
Enjoy the show.
Good God. You could subscribe to our Patreon, but then we'd have to keep making this podcast. And I don't think I'll survive that. Patreon.com/textmebackpod. If you want to watch me suffer, subscribe today.
I've only done impressions once in the history of this podcast.
That's not true. That is not true. You have fucking done that Yoda impression before.
I guess I also did Fat Albert. 2 weeks
I'm pretty
ago.
sure you've also done, that's not a knife. This is a knife. But I can't remember. I think you did.
No,
I'm positive you have.
That's not a knife.
Oh my God.
I haven't even seen that movie. Why would I do that impression, Megan?
You're a big Seinfeld head. That's why you have that Newman impression on lock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Newman's my favorite guy. Subscribe to our Patreon so we can keep making the show.
Please.
And please, would you mind? If you wouldn't mind. If you could be so kind. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we love you so much. We love you.
Okay. Bye, girl. Mwah!
Thank you so much for listening to Text Me Back. If you like the show, please tell your best friend about us. Be sure to rate and review us. It helps people find the show. And most importantly, please support our Patreon so we can keep making this. It's patreon.com/textmebackpod. Text Me Back is a production of Megan and Lindy, proud members of the BFF Network. Our senior producer is Megan Hatcher-Mays. Our other senior producer is me. Our show is supported by Co-Pilot Collective and produced by Allie Slice. Our digital strategist is Chance Nichols.
Diana Bowen is our video and creative wizard. Our production team includes Lindy West, Megan Hatcher-Mays, our loves, our anxieties, and our fears.
Our music is by Chief Ahamefule J. Oluo.
Special thanks to our perfect angels, Jeannie Yandel, Brandy Fullwood, and Isolde Raftery.
I'm Lindy West.
And I'm Megan Hatcher-Mays. See you next week. Mwah!